Welcome back to Quantreef.com. Bitcoin sitting right around 64,350, parked in a tight pocket that's worth slowing down on. We'll walk through liquidity, support and resistance, VWAP, Fibonacci, fair value gaps, positioning, and where this likely goes over the next several hours. Let's get into it. Price is basically glued to session VWAP at 64,356, and the two anchored VWAPs from the swing high and low sit just above at 64,636 and 64,587, close enough that it's really one zone of value rather than two. Momentum reads neutral here, trend is flat on the higher timeframe, and price is accepting right inside that value band, not rejecting it either way. The bigger liquidation pool sits just below, around 64,088, carrying over 2.3 billion in notional and only about 0.4% away. That's the magnet. Above, there's a smaller wall near 65 for 60 with about 1.76 billion resting. Price tends to get pulled toward the fatter pool first since that's where stops cluster and market makers can fill size, then often reverses once it's swept. On the panel, the nearest support is the 1-hour swing low at 64,137, then the stop loss level down at 63,811. Above, resistance 1 sits at 65,143, then 66,938, then 68,215. Given how close price is sitting to that downside pull, the swing low support is the one more likely to get tested first. Losing it opens the door toward the stop cluster. Below price there's an unfilled 4-hour bullish gap between 63,664 and 62,863, barely touched so far, acting like a magnet if things slip. Above, two daily bearish gaps sit well higher, near 67,516 to 70,687, and again near 71,400 to 73,400, both far out and untouched. On the fib, price is sitting right inside the range near the 0.618 retracement at 64,289, which is acting as support. Given the tight distance, that lower fib and fair value gap zone are more likely to get tested first before anything up top matters. The grade reads watch, with an N of 78 and HTS of 52, order flow and liquidity mapping are the strongest layer at 78.6, while institutional positioning and volatility drag it down near 32 and 25. Retail long sit at 54.8%, top accounts at 56.7, both leaning long, yet the 4-hour taker flow is actually short heavy at 52.2 versus 47.8 long. Shorts are the more aggressive flow right now. Price is squeezed between session value and that downside liquidity pool near 64,088, and given the size resting there, that's the more probable magnet over the next several hours. If sellers push into it and sweep it, the crowd that's net long, retail and top accounts both above 54% gets pressured, which is exactly the setup for a short squeeze back up through VWAP towards 64,581 and 64,754. If instead sellers keep control and taker flow stays short heavy, price can slide toward the unfilled gap near 63,664. Bullish case confirms on a hold above 64,137 with targets at 64 for 88 and 64,754, invalidated below 63,811. Bearish case confirms on a clean break of 64,088, targeting the gap fill, invalidated back above 64,582. So we're sitting right at a decision point, and whichever side takes that liquidity below first probably sets the tone for the next leg. If this kind of breakdown helps, give it a like and subscribe. Quantreef.com runs this same 9-layer grade, probability and liquidity read across over 100 coins, with a 7-day trial if you want to dig deeper. This is for educational purposes only, not financial advice.